You're listening to the Breezy Moms podcast on Digital Stream Radio.
Listen, are you ready for an emergency? No, like really ready. COVID-19, has caught me off guard, but there's no time like the present to fix my weak and untested emergency kit. So stick around.
Hey everyone, you're listening to the Breezy Moms podcast, a weekly show that chronicles the adventures of motherhood. I'm Candace. Now let's start the show.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
I am so good. I'm so glad to be virtually with you, even though we have to
Social
forego being in the
distancing.
studio together.
It's how we do it. It's social distancing and trying to navigate technology and how we record a podcast virtually. Right. All the network news are doing it. You're seeing people that are streaming their segments from home. You know, it's a whole new world.
Even Trevor Noah is doing the Daily Show from home.
It's incredible. And I say to myself, I'm like, wow, this is pretty deep, you know? Never in our immediate history, right? In our time, in our era, have we seen something disrupt everything so profoundly like COVID-19 has. And it's incredible. It's pretty crazy. And I'm just noticing I must have left my Echo Body lip balm at work. I am going through it. I need to order
your lip
more.
balm at work.
I cannot. I'm not.
I know. It's a tough time.
Yes.
So I just want to take a quick second to shout out to everyone who's watching on Facebook Live right now. I am figuring out, we're trying to figure out what this looks like. Again, we are recording each of us from our own studios. And last week when we did the live the way we usually do, because it was a recording of a recording, or like a camera recording of a live stream, there was a little bit of a delay between what you were hearing and what you were seeing and how we were responding. So it was a little bit tough. And I recognize that probably it might be a little bit weird on this end to be watching the Facebook Live. And I feel like you're only going to hear one side of this
watch
conversation.
That crazy woman talk.
Yeah, so you're just going to be hearing me talk, and then there'll be silence when I'm listening to Tom. So
which is quite
this
often.
might actually not end up being the best way for us to handle the video streaming, but I'll take this week now because I didn't know until today that last week's video wasn't working the way it was supposed to. So we'll take some time this week and try and figure out if we can still do these videos. If not, you'll be able to find us online at all the places where you typically find us or any other podcast. So those places are Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, like all of those places. You can find us there, and you can find us on Digital Stream Radio. That's where we are housed. That's where we're at home. So anyway, let's just jump right into it.
Sure. So Candace, not trying to change the format of the show or anything, but I have a question for you.
I'm listening.
How are your boys?
The boys are great. Okay, so the boys are really good. And the first thing I'll start out with is today's Lincoln's birthday. So happy 6th birthday to Lincoln. He's super excited, and I swear in the last month, I mean, we've only been dealing with Corona, like really dealing with it for about 2 weeks now. This is not like I'm countering or anything, but this is the end of the second week. But really in the last month or two, he's just blossomed into this little person, you know, like just not really a baby, you know what I mean? And he now sort of really acts and behaves and comports himself like a much older child. And so it's actually kind of starting to match with what he looks like, because everybody thinks that he's older, which may give us some trouble later when people really think that he's older than he is. But he's really such a wonderful, gentle, thoughtful kid. And sometimes even as a wonderful, gentle, thoughtful kid, it's still a lot to deal with sometimes. Like today he got a bow and arrow for his birthday, and
oh, Lord.
He was using the bow and arrow, but the part that you pull back with the string, he was just like rubbing it basically in his eye, right? We're outside. We're in the middle of a pandemic. You don't know what's out here in these streets. And he's just rubbing things like in his open eye. And I just was like, why would you do that? And he goes, I don't know. And I was just like, why?
Well, first of all, you have to remember that he is 6 years old, right, today.
Mhm.
And, children at that age, do they really know what they're doing, right? And so you give them a toy.
This is a physical thing, though. Like, why are kids this way?
Well-
You like, Mom, it hurts when I touch my eye. Then stop touching your eye. Like, that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Well, the thing is,
But-
you give children something, and the first thing they're going to do is either hit someone with it, play with it, rub it all over themselves, throw it on the ground, stomp on it, break it. Those are some of the common things that kids do with presents. So why
Mhm.
would you be surprised?
I am writing a note to the crew to hear both sides of the conversation.
Go to digitalstreamradio.com/live stream.
Yes,
that'll
that's exactly what I'm writing.
And that'll pretty much solve the problem. So 6 years old, and God bless. Seriously, I mean, your kids are absolutely adorable. They each have their own little personalities, and I have gotten to learn so much about Candace's children as a result of the show, because all we do during the beginning of the show is talk about how all of her men, her tribe at home, is doing, and that's how she rose. And this is the Breezy Moms podcast, after all. So talking about kids is just something that comes with the territory.
It really is. Sorry, I just dropped the whole camera.
That's okay.
Yes, so they are really great. So the boys are good. They are managing. I don't know if they have really internalized the fact that we're not going anywhere anymore, because we're still going outside and we're still going for walks. And today we went for a walk in a different neighborhood, the neighborhood right next to ours, outside, trying to do social distancing as best as we can. But this neighborhood, and this is a really cool idea that I just want to get out there off the bat, because I think all the neighborhoods should really find a way to, what is that?
If it's a spider, I'm logging off.
It's flying.
Okay, so it's not a spider. We're good.
Oh, I didn't know that stink bugs could fly. Oh,
what?
Shit. Oh, that just changed my whole life, my whole world, because I thought that those bugs never, like, when you look at them, they move so slowly. You know, these stink bugs, they look like armadillos, like little armored bugs with a hard shell. I did not know that shit opened up into wings. I feel like that is the stuff of nightmares.
Well, that's nature for you. Nature has a very wonderful way of doing beautiful things.
Oh my God. This is the part of the live streaming with the with the anchor who just fucking walks off stage. It's like, oh fucking, I can't do it.
You'll be fine, baby girl. It's not a spider, it doesn't bite, it doesn't sting. I think you'll be fine.
So the problem is, and I'm so we need just like a technical moment. I just need a second, because
grab your slipper.
No, I'm serious, because it is actually, the wings actually don't work that well. Kind of like, hold on.
Oh, so anyway, while she goes and handles her little litter bug over there, dead, done. I'd hate. See, she's definitely a mother. She grabbed her. Wait. She grabbed her chancleta, and that thing said, "Bye. It's done. Okay. It's gone."
I have like tinglies all over me.
Ooh,
okay,
girl.
So this is what happened.
That chancleta.
As a quick aside, so this stink bug, which I just killed, which you're not supposed to, so the whole house is going to smell like ammonia in a second, but it's okay. We're going to survive because it's dead now. It was flying around the light in my studio and just like crazy flying, but it's kind of like a bumblebee where the wings are actually not strong enough for its little body. So, or maybe it was drunk. I'm not really sure. What I did leave a couple cans of these seltzer Coronas, these like spice Coronas. So maybe it was a little bit drunk. But anyway, so it was flying around and its wings are not strong enough for its fat body. And so it was trying to catch its bearings and basically was falling and then would like flitter, flatter back up to the light. And then just now when I walked away, it's because it fell. And of course, why the hell did I pick flooring for the studio that's the same color as the stink bug? Like legit,
So
I had a hard time. I had a hard time finding it just now. And I found it because the thing fell on its back and like a... like a turtle was stuck on its back. And I found it because I could hear it going.
Mm-hmm. And then
I'm gonna have a nightmare.
And then you grabbed your chancleta.
I grabbed the box for one of the pieces of equipment and I just slammed it on top of it. So that's gonna be there until James's foot heals. That's the plan.
So that means that Candace murdered a bug.
What? What did you say?
You murdered a bug.
I murdered a bug. No, that bug was not invited into my house. So. It was illegally trespassing. It was clearly inebriated, and this felt like a stand your ground moment. Okay? I'm just letting you know.
Listen.
That's what just happened.
I feel you. I'm terrified, deathly terrified of spiders. And one day I was working in my shed, and I saw a very large spider on it. It wasn't anywhere near me, but I saw the spider on it. And I remember that my friend had loaned me his wet saw to cut some stone that I was laying down at a walkway.
Okay,
and with
a wet saw.
You
went after a spider with a wet saw?
No, honey. So he also brought me some gasoline to pour into the wet saw. And I decided that I was going to spray that gasoline on the spider and light it up. And I almost burnt my she shed down. Literally.
You almost killed yourself, is what you. So you found a spider in your shed.
It was big,
and you saw your wet saw, and
the canister of gas.
That the wet saw uses gasoline, and so then you took the gasoline and sprayed the gasoline on the spider, and then tried to set the spider on fire inside of your shed. I just thought
on the outside of the shed, but then I had to run into the house and grab the fire extinguisher to put the fire out before my she shed burnt down.
Oh my God, that's too much. That's too much. Oh my God.
Listen, if there is anyone that will burn the house down for a spider, I'm right here.
Burn it all.
Burn it all to the ground. Dracarys. It'll be done. Seriously, Dracarys. It'll be done. But anyway, you were telling us.
So we can get back on schedule. Sorry for that small aside. And I appreciate you for sticking around through it because I don't do any editing of the show. So it's going to stay there from now until forever. And so thank you for sitting through it. I feel like most people who listen to this show can appreciate that sometimes you have to, you just have to you have to stop in order to take care of things like live bugs.
I just have a question.
In your space.
Where are my dragons?
I know. Where are the dragons? Oh my God.
Oh, that is too funny. Okay. So back to the kids.
Boys are good. I'm upstairs in the attic. I have survived. I'm still here. I'm not going to light the house on fire. But the boys are really good. Oh, I was going to tell you about this thing the neighborhood did. So we went for a walk and I don't know if the boys really have internalized that we're quarantined because we're still outside in the yard. I still take them for walks and stuff. And so we kind of still see people, but they know they're not going to school. So it's a very interesting thing. And I haven't really said to them, hey, let's talk about how you're feeling about being here with me all the time and not going to school. Maybe we'll get there somehow. Anyway, today we went to the neighboring neighborhood that set up a bear hunt. And I don't know if there's this story for kids. It's called We're Going on a Bear Hunt. And so anyway, this person organized her whole block and then a couple blocks over because everybody is out going for walks all the time. It's like an interactive way for everybody to kind of play with each other, but not actually interact. And so a lot of the neighbors on the street all put bears, stuffed animals, or some kind of toy into a house window, a car window. We saw one stuck in a log. We saw one on the porch with its head inside of a watering can, which kind of made me think about Winnie the Pooh getting stuck in the
The
honey.
honey bin.
Like it, yes, it looked
The
like that.
honey barrel.
There are bears like precariously hanging from the roof, or you know what I mean? Like it was just a really really cool thing. And I'm definitely going to call all of my neighbors and tell them we should do it too.
So we should put bears out. It sounds like a nice outing in P-Town on Bear Week.
It sounds like a different kind of Bear Week.
I know, but yeah. So let's make Bear Week for children.
Bear Week for So here's so Tom said it sounds like Bear Week at P-Town, and I just said it's a different kind of, but that's why it's called going on a bear hunt and not Bear Week.
No, but I will tell you though, like, so Bear Week in P-Town, it's a lot of furry people running around, but they have all these like little cute little teddy bears, and they're all over the place. So yeah.
Oh, these are actually people dressed up in bear costumes?
No. So okay.
Oh, these are bears. So these are like guys who are bears.
Very hairy guys, but very lovable and fuzzy and lovey. But they put bears all over the place, and they also put like flags with the bear paw on it, and that's how you know it's Bear Week. Anyway,
got it.
Completely different type of Bear Week. So I'm just saying that we should create a children's Bear Week, and where you do these type of activities that Candace so elegantly, described, so that kids could go out and sort of kind of, while practicing social distancing, they can go and they can look at all these amazing, cute little displays of bears.
That's what it is.
Stuck in barrels.
It's the same exact thing. It's called going on. Yeah, so that's the same exact thing, except this leads me to, and I don't want to shortchange the boys because the boys are doing really well. James is doing really well. He's recovering. Did I tell you about when he cut himself out of the
Yes.
Okay, so he's recovering from that. He's starting to put a little bit of pressure or a little bit of weight on the foot. So we're getting there. Although today he was trying to get from the kitchen to the living room really quickly, and he kept saying, "I'm coming, wait for me, guys, I'm coming." And he really wasn't moving that fast. And I started to have some real concerns about our ability as a foursome to stay together in a real emergency.
I would have been like, "Listen, Linda, you're on your own." Like in that whole The Walking Dead episode thing, it's like they're all like.
That's exactly what I was like.
Sorry,
I have some. I thought you were further along than you actually are right now.
You're done. The zombies got you.
Well, you just sit here. I will give you the shotgun. You sit here. I'll go get help.
Good luck.
Yeah. So anyway, the boys are really good, but where was I going with this? The bear hunt, I think I was still talking about, but just the point is that it has been a really fun and awesome thing. If there are any silver linings to this pandemic, it is all the ways that people are finding to get close to each other without getting close to each other.
That's right.
And to get creative about keeping in contact, because we are really, aside from people who are introverts, I think naturally, inherently, we are social people. As a species of people, we're social because we're safer in groups. And so being told that you have to stay by yourself, in this way, it's very difficult, I think, for a lot of people. And myself as an extrovert, it's been pretty difficult for me. And so if there's any silver lining, that is the silver lining. So these ways to get together with your community in this kind of way is really good.
I have just been like in awe to watch the educational system adapt in such a way.
Yeah.
It is incredible to see teachers be so creative with some of the classes that they're doing. And so like services, for example, like Zoom, you and I know what Zoom is because we're professionals and we've worked in that environment. And so we use these type of teleconferencing services to hold meetings and stuff like that. But to see the average person pick up Zoom now, and I know the prices are going to go up. I'm sorry, they just are. Too
Yeah.
many users, a lot of people. They're really like getting creative with all of the resources that are available, whether it's Zoom, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Skype.
Google Classroom is what my school is using for the kids.
It is incredible.
I've seen people do, hi, Miss Mia. I've seen people do Zoom happy hours now. People are doing because we just really can't handle being isolated. Like, there's a reason why isolation, even in prison, is a cruel and unusual punishment. You know what I mean? So I was really excited again, these are not really the right words for this time, but you remember Sharon was on the show
that's right,
maybe a year ago. So she moved to Brooklyn, and last week she was like, oh, we getting out of Dodge. And so she came back up here, and she's actually quarantining with a friend of hers who lives on my block but is single. So, like, again, this whole bit about, even though we know that we need to isolate, even if you just isolate with one other person, will help you from going crazy. And so 2 single people,
it's either that or you're going to kill someone by the end of this. So, I mean, that has a double-edged sword.
It is. I keep thinking there are going to be a lot of summer divorces after this pandemic.
Either that or a lot of December babies. And please do not name it Corona.
Anything.
Nothing with Corona, nothing with
as
virus.
Many December babies as people keep saying. There's nothing ooh baby sexy time about pandemics, especially if you have kids in the house. There's just
But
not.
if you don't and you're alone, isolating yourself,
and you're a couple without kids,
listen,
maybe. But again,
a
if
year
you're
from
together
now,
all the time, you might be annoyed with each other.
A year from now, well, it only takes but one time to do the deed, right? A year from now, if I start seeing some Corona something or Corona this or
Coronitas,
Coronita, I'm gonna be so mad. I'm gonna be so heated. I'm like, come on, people, y'all so stupid. But anyway,
oh my god.
So,
well, that brings me to what I wanted to talk about tonight, which is just being prepared for the future, right? So this pandemic, or I should say the COVID-19 pandemic, is not so much like a natural disaster where the power is out and the blah, 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 but it is, the quarantining. If you stay in your house the way you're supposed to, which admittedly I have not been super quarantined, but I'm mostly quarantined, then you need things in your house so that you don't go outside anymore. You don't go outside. That's food, just like supplies or whatever. You just need things in your house so that you don't have to be outside and so that you don't have to be ordering stuff in all the time. Because while I think we feel a little bit safer ordering things to be delivered, there are a lot of people in warehouses right now getting these deliveries ready that is not great. Where's that noise coming from?
I don't hear anything.
I'm so confused. See, this is why. This is why. Oh my God, there are noises. I don't know where it's a ringing.
I don't hear it on my end. It's not coming through the recording, so I think we're good.
That's good. Okay, so maybe it'll stop. So
go to town, girl.
Say that again?
Go to town.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. So it was somebody calling, but I can't figure out. Everything is connected to everything, so I don't know where it's coming from.
Welcome to my world.
Okay, so an emergency kit. So I found this list. I guess I should go back and say I did not have an emergency kit. I'm the kind of person in this like big ass house that I live in. And I'm like, oh yeah. I have all the stuff that I have because obviously I hoard and I shop too much. So I have everything. But when it came time when James was like, oh, but do we actually have do we have a kit? The FEMA said we need a kit. I realized that we had most of the things, but they weren't in one central location. So I kind of knew where the flashlights were, but I didn't know where the batteries, or I knew where the batteries were because we use batteries all the time, but I wasn't exactly sure where the flashlights were. I think I saw them you know what I mean?
But I mean, in all fairness, though, your husband had to end up buying battery-powered flashlights because you had ordered USB-powered ones.
Exactly. See, so this is what I'm saying. I thought that I had stuff, but it wasn't necessarily the right stuff. So anyway, I went on to, so I started looking up emergency kits, and I found a bunch of videos, but I also found like an official government website, and the website is called ready.gov, and it's like brought to you by or hosted by FEMA. And so at that site, ready.gov, you go to the supply list or like emergency supply list. And they have two lists there. One is the recommended items to include in a basic emergency supply kit, and then additional items. So like your basics, and then if you have time and extra cash, you can buy these other things, or maybe buy them over a course of time, just keep adding to your thing. So anyway, I used that as my jump off point and started to make an emergency kit. And I definitely added a lot of things from the additional list, and probably a lot more things like, FYI, James ordered seeds, like heirloom seeds. We didn't talk about this. He didn't ask me for my input, but dude is really prepared to like start a farm if we need to start a farm.
Let's roll back. Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes hard, girl. Let's go back to the farm. Explain to me heirloom seeds. Go.
I don't want to spend too much time on the heirloom seeds because it's like not even on the secondary list. But the heirloom seeds, there's just a thing about getting. I can't remember exactly what the business with the heirloom seeds are.
Hold on. She don't want to go into heirloom seeds. Hold on.
Or stronger or more reliable or something. But he ordered these heirloom seeds like kale and onions. Kinds of stuff. I'm just going to do this last aside on these seeds. I was like, dude, did you buy any dirt? Because there's lead in our backyard. Like, nobody plants directly in the yard. So unless you also bought some fresh dirt for us to start this farm with, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. If it's not one problem, it's the next. So, but anyway, we got the seeds. So I will probably in a real situation where we need farms, we'll probably have to move out of New Haven anyway. So then maybe we'll have some clean dirt.
Probably. Maybe go into the suburbs somewhere.
Yeah, we'll end up somewhere else. So anyway, I thought it would be great to discuss this emergency kit with our listeners. So let's just go through it. And again, I have two kits, and it's a lot of stuff. So
she's got paper.
I started by printing the two lists, and then I started with the recommended list. And I found, again, because you can't, what's wrong?
Why are you printing? You're a digital girl. I
am a digital girl, but listen, if it's an apocalypse, you think there's Wi-Fi in the house? You think the cloud is still going to be working?
Save it to your notes. Save it. You can save it to your notes on the device.
You think that my phone is still going to have power once the USB powered bank light that I have dies?
Oh, well, true. Like, your USB powered flashlights.
I think we need both. And so it's important to have like digital copies and that's actually like a small, minute argument that James and I got into, because part of the thing that you're supposed to put in this kit is some of your like personal documents, passports, ID, like things like that. And I said, oh, we should print a couple to put in the thing. And he goes, oh, they're in the cloud. They're all in the cloud. And I was like, dude, apocalypse. The cloud's not going to work. And
true that.
You know who said it? It was Carolyn, was like, if there's a problem and you're trying to get out and you're in a car at the border, the dude is not going to say, oh, you can't tell them, wait, it's loading. Like, I got to get it from the cloud. No, you need to have all your papers and you go, these are the papers for the 4 people in this car. We are going to go through this line. You know what I mean? Like, I think you need both. So anyway, let's go through the list.
I mean, for the sake of the show, though, show me the list.
Okay, so don't laugh at my list. So there's an actual list here that's from ready.gov, and so I printed it out. But I printed that out after I started thinking about I started handwriting on a piece of peach construction paper what I thought I needed.
Okay, and how did you do? So what do we got? So what do we have?
Okay, so on their official list, not the additional, let's start with the real one. Okay. So did you know that for water, the recommendation is that you have 1 gallon of water per person for 3 days for your emergency kit? Did you know that? So
Well,
for
so I lived in Puerto Rico for a very long time, very quickly.
uh-huh.
And the rule of thumb was if we were having an issue and where water was going to be pulled, you're going to have water for a couple of days, we would fill the bathtub up with water,
Interesting.
right? And so
Fill the bathtub up.
we would use that water, we would boil it to cook, to drink, to bathe outside. So we wouldn't use the bathtub to bathe because we're
Yeah.
using the bathtub to store water. But you would fill out fill up any containers that you had before a natural disaster. This was very common for hurricanes and things like that, because that was the water that you're going to use for a couple of days. But anyway, go ahead.
Right. So, okay. So, fill up the bathtub. So that makes sense. But here I can go to the Dollar Tree and get a gallon real easy like. So
Yeah. Don't forget to disinfect that bathtub too.
yes, disinfect the bathtub before you fill it with your drinking water. But
What are you going
anyway,
to boil it?
so anyway, their FEMA's recommendation is 1 gallon per person for at least 3 days. So for our family, that means 12 gallons of water. Right now we have 9. So Walmart was only letting you buy 1 gallon of water at a time. Like not even, you couldn't even buy 1 gallon of each of the different kinds. You could just buy 1 gallon of water. So I was only able to get 1 from there, and I got 2 from Family Tree on that day that I went out, and I haven't been out shopping since. So.
Okay, so I would have walked into Walmart 12 times.
I
would have
but
went to my
again,
car, went right back to the aisle, picked up another one, and went right back to the cash register.
Yes, but I do have 9, so I think we're okay for now. And I understand why they put that restriction on the water, because there's certain things in the store, right, that everybody is overbuying and panicking about that they shouldn't be. Because this water thing you should have already had. Everybody shouldn't have needed to go out and get it all at once. So anyway, so we are supposed to have 12 gallons of water in the house, and then any more is great. But that water, especially for Emery, can't drink a whole gallon of water. So maybe some of that water would be used for cooking or would be used, But that's the typical
another
1 gallon.
thing too. So for that water thing, so let's say now you went and bought 12 gallons of water.
Mm-hmm.
Use the water. Don't throw out the gallons, because you can take tap water, boil it, and fill up the gallons, and then you don't have to go to Walmart and deal with stupid people trying to get gallons of water. Again.
That's true. Or I guess right now you could, like, you boil your tap water. I drink the tap water.
I drink my tap water I filter it, but I drink it. Yeah.
So I guess the hack here is if you have some gallons somewhere, or if you're getting ready now and you have a gallon, then just fill it up with tap water as you go, and you can replenish. So anyway, that's the water. And then for food, which I didn't do any food for this emergency kit, I focused on the non-perishable things. And then, this weekend to get to the food stuff, you're supposed to have 3 days of non-perishable food. Then they're suggesting a battery-powered or hand crank radio so that you can get your information. Again, the assumption is that it's not 6 years into the apocalypse when your phone is definitely not working. Or maybe we're thinking about 6 years into the apocalypse when the cell phone towers are down. You still need to be able to find out information, or if the power goes out, or, someone blows up the phone grid or whatever, like kind of extra thing happens, that you still have a way of getting information. So you need some kind of battery powered or hand crank radio. We didn't get that yet. I'm still looking for one right now on Amazon. The ones that I'm seeing are like almost $50 because they are solar powered and they also charge your phone. But I just keep thinking again, why am I going to spend extra money to charge my phone that might not work?
Video games. What I mean? It keeps kids busy amidst the, when things get crazy. If you need kids to just sort of kind of settle down for a bit, you can charge your phone and let them play video games.
And still let them play that Jewel game.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you play that while Mama boils this water that you're about to drink, or I'm about to cook your meal with. So,
Right, right.
settle down.
So, okay, so that is a battery powered radio, and it says with NOAA, which I don't know what that means,
Noah?
but weather radio
Yep.
and a tone alert, and then extra batteries for your radio. Then it says flashlight and extra batteries. So we now have this plug-in battery this USB battery that I got. I mean, this USB flashlight that I got that also charges phones. And then James bought battery powered lights, and we got the ones that work as a typical flashlight, but then also expand in the middle so that they turn into a lantern.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of get like a broader light stream. And then he also bought a couple of like tactical flashlights that you could hang from your book bag or whatever. And they're just like little tiny battery powered, but again, smaller flashlights. So I think we're good on the light situation. Then a first aid kit. And so I had a lot of first aid stuff. I have a first aid kit for my business, but I can't take that first aid kit from, easy accessibility for my business and go put it in the basement kit. Like that doesn't really work. So I went through and found whatever extra things that I could find and put them in there. And then I also was looking through a lot of first aid kits on Amazon to order one, and a lot of the reviews that I read are like they're really chock full of Band-Aids, and they really don't have a lot of the other things. So instead of getting a first aid kit for $30 or $40, which basically you're paying a lot for the case that the kit comes in, and then Band-Aids, I just bought the first aid kit refill. They sell refill packs for first aid, for your first aid bag. And that one had a lot more of gauze and medical tape and the little scissors and antiseptic stuff and like all of that kind of thing. And that was $20 for like 100 pieces or something. So that's what I'm going to use for our first aid kit. And then I also was don't ask me why. I mean, it's kind of panic buying, but that's what I did. When I was at Family Dollar the other day, they're obviously out of alcohol. It's very difficult to find alcohol, but there was a whole shelf full of hydrogen peroxide. And I think people forget that hydrogen peroxide works like alcohol does. It's just for your body, right? It's an antiseptic for your body as opposed to alcohol, which is a like cleaning thing. I don't know what the technical word is, but for like a surface. So you can use it for your body and for a surface, but the peroxide you use for your body. I don't think anybody wipes off a table.
Well, and just to let you know, if you go to some of these places and you're unable to find alcohol, you can go to your local liquor store and buy a bottle of Dubra. That's 99% like grain alcohol, and you can use that as a disinfectant. Just letting you know, and it's like, maybe $5 or $6.
Okay.
It works.
Good to know. So I bought a container of hydrogen peroxide, and then at Family Dollar, they had this little tiny thing of iodine, and iodine is also an antiseptic. So I just bought the little one. I was like, I'll just put it in my first aid kit. The way that James is behaving with cutting himself out of casts, like I just never know when we might need some iodine for a big old big old self-surgery kind of situation. Okay, so let's see, what's next? Okay, so after the first aid kit, they then suggest that you get a whistle. So I had never thought about putting a whistle, but okay. Yeah, so explain put a whistle because maybe you're hurt and you can't actually yell as loud as you usually can, or maybe you're just muffled for some reason. Like a whistle can make a lot. Like think about it. Rose had the whistle. Rose jumped back in the water to go grab the whistle.
That bitch could have shared that goddamn door. That's all I know. That poor man was hanging over that door. There was space for both of them on that door. But go ahead.
But the whistle saved her because she was like, help. She couldn't get the noise out. So as soon as I saw whistle, I was like, oh, Rose used a whistle.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I
She
bought a
also
whistle
killed Jack.
and I actually got I got 2 whistles. And I was gonna order anyway. I'm getting 4 whistles. I have 2 already. I'm gonna get 2 more, and I have lanyards for them. And so my plan is to have one for each of us, including the boy. So again, if for some reason they got away from us, they could use their whistle to make some noise. And of course, we will learn some secret codes at some point.
I'm lit right now.
So that's the whistle. So the next. I know these Corona seltzers are great too.
I'm lit.
Okay, so after the whistle comes the dust mask. And when I was reading that, I was like, gosh, I wish I had done this like 3 months ago, because then we would have the actual masks that are sold out all over the place. But anyway, it's suggesting a mask, and I had 4 of them. And then when I was looking for them to put them in the emergency kit, one fell in the toilet. Okay. This is life. So now I only have 3. And so I've already done like a spiral panic. I'm like, who's not going to get a mask?
Get one.
Who's not going to get a mask?
And I'll tell you one thing though. Most likely it'll be the mother. It'll be the mother. She will save her husband, and she will save her kids, and she will sacrifice herself, because it's just what mothers do.
We've already decided that I'm not doing that. So I'm going to get the mask, because James has an O2, like one of these running situations that he bought last year. It's something for running. It looks like Bane. It looks like Bane's mask. So we're just going to put that in there, and that one's going to be his. Which means that actually he's the one who's probably going to survive. It is an oxygen mask. But anyway.
Lord have mercy.
Anyway, it says to put masks in there. So 1 for each person. And the purpose of that is to filter any contaminated air. And then it also says to put some plastic sheeting and duct tape for shelter in place. And so we didn't do plastic sheeting, but James bought 2 tarps. So we have these 2 blue tarps that are in the... that are in the bin just in case we need to shelter in place inside our house, right? That's good.
It's like you can go and grab some of those like window seal kits, the ones where you stick the little sticky tape on it and you throw the plastic, and then you go with a blow dryer and tighten it up.
Yep. But what are you going to do with that?
You seal all the windows and seal all the areas and where air is coming in, and then you won't have anything coming in your house.
That's true. But if you don't have any power, you're not going to be able to use your blow dryer.
Just breathe. See,
this is what I'm saying.
Our breath be hot.
I know. Okay, so that's for shelter in place. Then they're saying, so we have that. We have the couple of masks, and we have the tarp, and we have the duct tape. He bought like 400 yards of duct tape. Okay.
I can tell you can build a house with duct tape, though. You really can. Duct tape is the fix-all for everything. Got a broken bone, grab 2 sticks and wrap that shit in duct tape.
Sure, they use it in space when they need to. Okay, so next it says some moist towelettes, some garbage bags, some plastic ties for personal sanitation. So this is even if you're sheltering in place, you're going to create garbage. So you want to make sure you also have some garbage bags. So I just took a bunch of our little Walmart bags or whatever and put them all, like tied them up into these little balls so they don't take up a lot of space. And I think I put 10 in there. So those would be our little garbage bags, or, whatever waste whatever waste you create, because you still create, I think we create a lot of waste. And then the moist towelettes, I went shopping this past weekend. I went to Walmart. I went to I went out to too many places, but I did go out. And I will tell you that in this it's my second week at home, but it's kind of the 3rd week of really knowing about the virus. And so last week, everything everywhere was sold out. But now in the 3rd week, things are starting to get back on the shelves.
I found hand sanitizer.
You still haven't found hand sanitizer?
I found it.
Oh, see, good. See,
so I was only about to. So they're 3-ounce bottles.
And
I could only buy 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I was like,
So things
bitch.
are coming back. I found the wet ones.
Mm.
They come in that red packet. Looks like baby wipes, but it's for your hands. So I found those. I found some alcohol. Like things are starting to come back onto the shelf because people are. I don't know if people are not buying them at like clearing the shelves, or if people are really staying home. So stores are actually getting a chance to
To
restock. But
restock. Yeah.
things are coming back. So when I was making this kit, I was able to find they're basically hand sanitizer wipes is what I put into this
I
bin.
went out and I couldn't find anything. I went to every pharmacy that existed. I went to
Yeah.
Walmart. I went to Target. The hand sanitizer area. So first of all, anything that said the word disinfectant in it is just you can't find it. So
Yeah,
I
Clorox is
found
gone.
one. So I went into Target,
Mm-hmm.
and you've got your displays and you've got all the shelves. I literally picked up the shelf in the bottom, and there's always shit that falls under there. I
Oh
found
yeah.
one bottle of antimicrobial soap. One. And I
Wow.
snatched it up and
That's
took it with
great.
me, and it's in my bathroom
Nice. That's
because I
so
was just
good.
like, what? WTF?
Yeah. No, it's
Shelves are
hard.
bare.
It's really hard out there.
Yeah.
Okay, so the moist wipe. So that's just something to clean your hands if you don't
Mm-hmm.
have running water, right? Some kind of like hand sanitizer or a moist towelette or something. Then it says a wrench or pliers to turn off utilities. And we actually didn't have a spare wrench. We just had one. And so James said that he wanted to get this multi-use tool, or a tool that has I don't know, it's like 17 tools in one, and it has a pliers on it. So I ended up picking up that instead. So it's like a tweezer, a plier, a wrench, a screwdriver, a little tiny scissors. It looks like a Swiss Army knife kind of thing.
So it's
So
basically like MacGyver in your pocket.
yes, yes. So I got one of those, and then I had some extra screwdrivers, a flathead, and a Phillips head. So I just threw them in the bucket anyway.
Okay.
Right? Like why not? But that's the thing. I don't know what happens well, I guess like if it's an emergency and for some reason your pipe bursts or whatever, you need to be able to turn off the water so your house doesn't flood. Like I think it's that kind of thing. I don't
But
know,
I mean, at
but
this
FEMA
point,
said to do it though.
so the gas, my water, they all have valves that you can just close them.
Yeah,
I
maybe that's
mean,
it. I don't know,
maybe you need to
but
pull a tooth in the middle of the freaking,
right.
jungle
Or
somewhere where you're
you need
hiding.
to get into the car or something. I have actually been doing a lot of like dealing with our cars lately. And I didn't know anything about cars, and I still don't know anything about cars, but I learned a few little things. So, and I can't wait to tell you I have two Moms Are Hard tips that I couldn't pick one. I just have to do both of
So
them.
just a little tip, like for example, if you're like, let's say in the middle of an apocalypse and you need to like break a window or something, if you happen to do your own maintenance and you're
Mm-hmm.
changing your spark plugs, that little white stuff that surrounds the spark plug, break that up into pieces and keep that in a little bag. Because all you have to do is just literally toss it out the window and the window just shatters.
Oh my goodness.
Just letting you know.
Okay, I don't know what that is. I haven't been doing spark plug work, so
I'm just saying, or
um
you can just buy a spark plug, but they're like
what
$3.75, and you just break up the white little piece. It's like ceramic that
uh-huh,
surrounds the spark plug, and then you
but they're
just
really
keep that in a little
sharp.
bag. No, it's not that they're sharp. There's something static. It must be static electricity or something that when
Mm-hmm.
it makes contact with glass, it makes it shatter instantly.
Oh
And so
wow.
therefore, if you
That's
needed
crazy.
to get out of a car or in a car, it's something nice to have.
Mm.
Just
So
saying.
the window lesson that I learned in our like emergency thing for school, when I was working in a school, was when you're trying to break a window, to people always like throw something at the middle of the window. The windows are designed to withstand that sort of thing.
Hmm?
But if you try to break it from a corner, like any of the corners, that's where you can actually do the force and the whatever to get the window to break. The middle of the window is actually meant to sort of
Take the blunt.
sway and bend and take a yeah. So if you need to break a window, make sure you go for a corner. Okay, so the pliers, we did the pliers and just some like basic tools, pliers. Since I had space, I put in the screwdrivers. The next is a can opener for food, especially if your kit includes cans. I did not remember to get the can opener, so it's still on my list of things that I need. And then it says local maps. Again, this is for like if your phone is not working, if your phone dies and you still need to know how to get out of Dodge, you kind of need to know. So again, just we rely on a lot of stuff digitally, and we should have those things available, but a few things we should also have paper copies of, I think. So I haven't gotten a map, but I thought it would be interesting to see, especially just to look at right now. I don't know how I would get to my in-laws in Massachusetts if there was an apocalypse and the highways were like, you weren't supposed to use the highways. You know what I mean?
Take Route 1.
Because the highways, huh?
Take Route 1.
But I'm just saying, like, but
no,
that's what I
I
mean.
get
like,
you. I hear you.
If you couldn't take, like, we all know 95 is there, but in every apocalypse movie, all like everybody died all at once and the cars were all abandoned on the highway. And so unless you're driving one of those Mack trucks with the like the like
with the little splitter,
pointy splitter in the front, you're not going to be able to get through the highway. And I don't really know how to get from town to town or state to state without using the interstate highway. So,
and no, you can't use MapQuest to print them out.
Yeah, you can use MapQuest, but you could probably use MapQuest now to print it out.
Right? Like, here's the back road way to get to your like mother-in-law's house.
Or look at Waze. Like, put it in now. I think just for like an exercise, just put it in and see how would you get to whatever place that you think is your safe place or place that you would want to go. And see what the map says. And maybe that will somehow stick in the back of your mind for when there's an emergency. Okay, so I'm trying to rush through the rest of this list. So It was, how do we get to additional items? Okay, so can opener and local maps. That was the last thing on the things you should have. And then there's the additional items. And I think I went to town on the additional items.
And like she always does.
We still have one bin, but it is chock full of stuff. So their additional list says to include your prescriptions and medications and glasses. So I did a little bit of that, some extra asthma pumps, some extra Benadryl, some extra Tylenol for adults and for kids. Like I did that stuff for medication. They also said some allergy medicine. So Benadryl, but also whatever like allergy medicine you take. And Lincoln and I both have seasonal allergies, so it makes sense for us to do that. So I added that. Then it says infant formula and diapers. So you do that depending on how old your kids are. And then here it talks about your pet. So pet food and water for your pet, which is separate from your, human water.
Now you're speaking my language.
Right. Then here it lists the important family documents, which I haven't done yet, but is important. So these are your insurance policies, your identification, maybe some bank account information, maybe. And then I would say maybe copies of your passport. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like those things, and then especially knowing who's in charge of our company right now, our country right now, and just like, you just don't know how things are going to go. And when you have to prove that you are who you are, or you have to prove that your kids are who you say they are, and some of our kids look exactly like us and some of our kids don't look exactly like us, and you don't want to have any of those conversations.
That's right.
When shit hits the fan. So if that means you have a copy of their birth certificate and a copy of their passport so that you can get through the line without any stalls, then that's what you should have. If you're by yourself, maybe you just have your stuff. But I feel like, I feel confident that people think the boys look like me, but I'm not in a crazy time. I don't want to have to rely on that. So it's hard enough for us when we travel by air. We still bring birth certificates for our kids Because you just never know.
You never know. They question,
You never
especially
know.
if you're going to another country and you're like,
Right.
whose child are you trying to steal?
Whose child is this?
This is my child.
So you just want to have all of that information. And then it says to put it in a waterproof portable container. So the easiest thing I think is to fold it up and put it in a Ziploc bag, or like that's the simplest, easiest. You have that stuff in your house. Or if you had some special, I'm sure Amazon sells some kind of special fancy waterproof.
End of the world type of like contraption.
Exactly. But if we get to that point, then all hell is broken loose anyway. Okay, so that's for the emergency documents. Then it says cash or traveler's checks or change. I don't know about these traveler's checks, but cash can't hurt. Again, I was thinking,
take your jewelry. Gold. Gold never loses value. Let me tell you, there might be a situation where cash, you know what? Cash is not going to be worth anything in an emergency.
Yeah.
Take your jewelry, pack it up, make sure that
we're in trouble because I don't have any real jewelry.
Listen, I don't care if it's fake. Here's a sapphire. You won't know the difference, right? A can of food for a sapphire. Go to town.
Yeah.
But yeah, seriously, pack your jewelry. If you're not a person that wears your very valuable jewelry all the time, make sure that you keep it in a place that is perhaps in a safe, that's easily accessible. So in events of an emergency, that's one of the things that you throw in your quick bag. Because
maybe you should have within your safe, there should be a go portion, like the things that I feel like that's always a scene in a movie, right? They're like trying to get out and they run in and they just have to quickly grab whatever the shiniest things are that they see.
Because those kind of things never lose value. Gold is one of those things that, people are going to look for it.
Right. So I don't have any jewelry like that. So I did just go out and get some cash. And we were discussing whether we should get like $500 or like what is the amount of money that you should have. And I would love to hear from someone else, like what kind of number you feel comfortable with. Maybe even anonymously, but what number do you feel comfortable with having in your house? Because obviously, like we don't want to ever get robbed or the house is on fire or, money loses value under your mattress. You know what I mean? Like we don't want to get extra with it. But again, I'm thinking if you have to get through some kind of line, you might want to have a few coins that'll help get you pushed to the front of the line or a few pieces of jewelry or whatever.
Yeah.
Now I'm just going to take a quick pause here, which I should have said 49 minutes ago. I have never, ever, ever been a prepper, a prepared person, a planner. Like I've never been this person. Okay. And when James first said to me, do we have a go bag? Do we have an emergency kit? I was like, dude, where are we going? People are coming to our house. We're not going nowhere. Like, why do we need these things? And I swear in the last week, I went from stop to, don't forget to get the emergency silver spacesuit blanket that they have in the ambulances. We need one of those because what if the power goes out, and the heat goes off? So I tell you that now I have those emergency blankets, those silver blankets that you use at the end of a marathon or in the back of an ambulance. I have those in my emergency kit.
It's amazing what a situation like this, like I said, the last time we had a major pandemic was 1912, right?
Wow.
1918. I think it was right before the crash of the Great Depression. And so we haven't had a really big pandemic like this that has affected the global economy in this way. And so, when you're presented with something that's so extraordinary, because it really is, it's very extraordinary to see what people are going through right now, how these cases just keep doubling and doubling and doubling and doubling. Yeah. It's like we went literally from 15 to 65,000 active cases in the U.S. alone. And we're to the point where I believe at some point we've already exceeded what China reported with the onslaught of their epidemic there at home. And so, you say to yourself, what do you do? What happens if, civil services break down? If you don't have, any ways to contact police, or if the police just said, fuck it, you're on your own. It's
Yeah.
like, what if society breaks down as you know it,
Breaks down.
and you have to
Well,
then come to that realization: should I start carrying a weapon? Do
mhm.
I need these kids? Do I need to have cash? Do I need something that I can barter with? Do I need, it's like you
Do you
have
need
to,
heirloom seeds?
right? Yeah, James. But
So
but these are things that you think of.
I totally agree with you. And I want to talk about that on our next, like, these things seem like small things to talk about, but they actually take quite a bit of time to really sort of think through. So this is just the physical things and
Mhm.
even the non-food things. These are just the physical, non-perishable
Mhm.
things that go in a kit. But what you're talking about is not an emergency kit, but an emergency plan.
Yeah, because what
And
happens when
I
everything
want to
breaks
come
down?
back. I want to come back next week or sometime in the clear future, the near future, and talk about an emergency plan, because I will say, as just an aside, James keeps asking me about it and it feels like such a big deal that, like, it feels overwhelming to think about it. But like you're saying, we really do need to be thinking about what our plan is. When shit hits the fan, are we going to stay here? Are we going to try, like, where would we go? What kind of,
Mhm.
and this is where the physical go bag comes into play, but you have to know where you're going.
Or
So
the
we're
importance of
definitely
that
going to hit on
crowbar,
that.
right? Like,
Huh?
do you need a crowbar to break into a supermarket and steal
Right.
stuff that,
Exactly.
or take
Exactly.
stuff that you need to survive when society and all social norms break down?
Breakdown. So that is the next. And if anybody listening is a prepper or does know, like, does have experience thinking about those sorts of things, I would love to talk to someone who really
Mhm.
knows about that.
Like,
But
do you have
or
a
has
bunker in
been.
your backyard? Are you setting up booby traps for now?
Right,
Like, that kind of
exactly,
stuff.
exactly, exactly. Yeah. So
Oh.
let's wrap up with this list here. So we were at cash. So get some cash. And we decided we don't have a lot of cash, so don't get any ideas. But we decided to have, I was like, we should have a couple big bills and
Mhm.
then we should have some change, right?
Yeah.
Because people are not making change at the border. Right? You just need to
True.
be able, it's like four of us. Okay, here are four bills for us. Let us through, right?
It's not like they're
Whatever.
gonna be like, okay, I need $99.95.
Right.
No, bitch, give me the $100 bill. I'll let you through.
Exactly. And
So,
they're also not going to wait for you to count dollars.
mm,
We
seriously.
have to this is a quick exchange. But again, it's really interesting how quickly my mind went from, oh, the power might go out, to, oh, we might need to pay to get through the border, right? Like, it is a very ridiculous but also quick leap to get from one to the other. I don't know what that says about my brain, what this says about the kinds of things that I watch, but I feel like it's reasonable given ICE raids and sending people back to wherever, quote unquote, wherever we think they came from. You know what I mean? It doesn't actually feel that far fetched. So have some cash. This thing also says emergency reference material. So that might be, so you have all that first aid stuff, but you might not actually know how to do a tourniquet or how to do whatever kinds of things. So maybe there's some kind of, like, short guide or hit list on first aid actions to take. So have that. And then it also says a sleeping bag or warm blanket for each person. And so I did that with the little silver blankets. And then it says consider additional bedding if you live in cold weather climates. So
Mhm.
just consider where you are. And then this, I think, would be our go bag, right? Complete change of clothing, including a long sleeve shirt, long pants, sturdy shoes, and consider additional clothing if you live in cold weather. And then it also says household bleach and a medicine dropper. And it gives you the dilution for bleach to water. It's 9 parts water and 1 part bleach. Can be used as a disinfectant to clean whatever area where you're going to eat, where you're going to sleep, poop, whatever. And then in an emergency, you can treat water by using 16 drops of bleach per gallon of water, but make sure that it's not unscented or color safe or any additional cleaners. It's just pure bleach. So I guess what they're saying is you can put 16 drops of bleach in a gallon of water and then drink it. And it's enough to kill whatever might have been in your water. You wouldn't have to do this if you just got the 12 gallons from the Dollar Tree.
Or
But
boiled
if you
it.
or boil them, but maybe you don't have any fire. So then it
Learn
says
how to
fire
make
extinguisher.
fire.
Huh? Yeah, I don't know how to make fire. So it says a fire extinguisher, which we have in the house. You should have in your house anyway. And then matches in a waterproof container. So James bought a bunch of actual matches that I put in a Ziploc bag, and then he also bought a few fire starter, not camping fire starters. We call them fire starters. Like a lighter, but the long one.
Yeah,
So not like a little tiny lighter.
the
I have the
candlelight
matches
lighters.
Say that again.
They're like lighters, but they're like for lighting candles and things like that.
Yes,
Things that where you
or
don't
the
want you to get
grills.
your fingers in there.
Next to, yes.
Yeah.
So we got 2 new ones of those, and then we got 1,000 matches or whatever. So you want to make sure you put your matches in a waterproof a Ziploc bag or some kind of waterproof container. And then it says feminine supplies and personal hygiene items. And so under that, I included diapers, and so feminine products, diapers, wipes. I also included they didn't even say toilet paper. I included 2 rolls of toilet paper, and I included a full Costco pack of wipes. So it's even like a bigger pack of wipes. So we're all set on the wiping situation. And then it says a mess kit, paper cups, paper plates, plastic utensils, and paper towels. And so I found at Walmart, they have a mess kit, which is like a pan, like a frying pan within a jug, within it's this little silver thing. It's really super cute and it's really compact, and you could use it to cook with or boil water or whatever. And it was like $4. So I just picked up one of those, and it's all self-contained. And then I added a pack of paper plates. I added a pack of plastic utensils, and I added a roll of paper towel. I also added 4 bar rags. And you know what a bar rag is. It's just like a large thing used in the kitchen or at a bar. I included 4 of them. I figured those could be used for hand wipes or, face wipes or... Here come these noises again. It's my mother trying to call Lincoln. So I included those bar rags because I'm already into reusable stuff. So I didn't want to buy a whole lot of disposable things. And I wanted to make sure, because even if you're in a situation, you can use some of that bleach or some of that soap to wash out a thing and then have it. You're going to eventually run
one
out
of the
paper
best things
towel.
that we have in our home that everyone has is metal utensils. Those are cleanable, reusable. Take one of each and pack it. And not only that, you can use something like a fork. You can use something like a spoon or even a butter knife as a weapon. Right?
True.
And so, there's a lot of uses. You can't really.
You're right.
It's like,
So add some reusable stuff. That's a really good point. So add some reusable cutlery, and then instead of regular cups, I included a water bottle for each of us. Right now, Emery is still pretty small, so I just included 3 water bottles. When I reevaluate this in a year or 2 years or whenever, on some kind of schedule, maybe I'll add one for Emery. But I figure right now 1 for each of us, and then a shared one for Lincoln and Emery.
So, I mean, and another little tip that you can use is when you're thinking about reevaluating, as Candace just mentioned, just rechecking to see what you have, what's expired, what needs replacing. A good time to do that is around November or in March when the time changes and where you're already supposed to be changing batteries for your fire alarms in the house or for your carbon monoxide detectors. This would be a really good time to also take an opportunity to look at your emergency supplies and see what needs replacing. Has the ibuprofen or Advil or whatever it is that you have, has it expired? Can you continue to use that for the next 6 months or whatever? And so it's a really good opportunity to think of moments like that as a means to give you a trigger or be the trigger to check up on your emergency supplies.
Absolutely. It's a really, really good point. So that's how are you going to eat part. right? Your plates and stuff. Then it says paper and pencil, so it's thinking about things for you or for your kids. And then it also says books, games, puzzles, or other activities for children. So this is not an apocalypse situation. This is like a power outage, or something like this where you're stuck at home but you're not fighting zombies or whatever. That you want to have some things that are easily accessible so that you can have some good distractions for your kids. So I actually bought a new pack of Uno. I bought a pack of Skibbo. Lincoln is really into checkers. So we have a couple things and I have those accessible. I didn't actually put them inside the kit, but they're accessible. And then the last few things, I know we're way over time, but the last few things that I added in here that were not on this list, which could actually go in your go bag, or I actually have them in the emergency kit list, are things that are not necessities, like, this list, these two levels of necessities, but are things that are going to make my life easier, like my personal life, So I think you should, it's a emergency, but that doesn't mean you should be uncomfortable, right? You should try to make yourself as comfortable as possible.
Take a sports bra. Pack a sports bra.
Right, padded sports bra. I mean, I included things like I went out and bought a fresh bottle of Vicks.
Because Vicks cures everything.
Because I'm not going to be able to sleep without it. And if it's already a tumultuous time, I'm going to be anxious and stressed out, and I'm definitely going to need my Vicks. So I put in a pack of Vicks for myself because I know that I need that. I also bought us,
Echo Body lip balm.
Some lip balm.
Shea
so
butter.
I really thought about putting the Echo Body lip balm in there, but I was worried, like natural products don't last as long as other products. So I didn't want to, you almost don't want to waste it in here.
No, but those are things that you should have in your grab and go bag, right?
Yes, in your
like
grab
your everyday
and go
bag
yes.
that you're going to grab anyway, along with all the other tons of stuff that you're going to carry out.
Exactly.
And pack the car with.
There, if you have it there and then you check it in 6 months and it feels like, then you could have the choice of using it and then replacing it with another new one.
Or you can write down on a piece of paper the natural ingredients on how to make yourself some deodorant, so that when you're using that, that all those seeds and stuff that you're going to pack to grow stuff, you can grow the taro root, you can grow the lavender, you can grow all that stuff and make yourself some natural body
deodorant.
stuff.
You're hilarious.
Or soap.
Okay, so I also included new toothbrushes for us, and I bought new containers for them so that they're not, I don't want to make all this extra noise. So I ordered new toothbrushes for us and covers, because you want to keep it kind of, sanitary in whatever situation. I included a toothpaste for the kids and a full-size toothpaste for us. I included floss for us. I included lotion, body lotion. I included a Ziploc bag with cotton balls and Q-tips, because those can be used for any number of things. I included, James has these travel pack. I don't know if they meant to be travel packs, but they're actually little plastic seals packs of coconut oil. So I added a couple of those. Coconut oil can be used for cooking or for your body or for like whatever. So I included a couple of those. I included lotion. I included floss. I included some store-bought lip balm because that lasts on the shelf forever. And that's what's in this kit. And then in another Ziploc bag, so I actually use more plastic than I usually do, but I'm keeping this little kit that I'm talking about in a, what are these things called? These are called
mesh bags.
But they're for travel. They're for your suitcase. They're like suitcase organizers.
Yeah. Your little suitcase organizing mesh bags.
Yes. So that's what I took. I'm using one of those to contain all of the stuff, but within there, I've also separated them into Ziploc bags. Again, you don't know what kind of emergency you're in, and maybe things are getting wet. You know what I mean? You just need a way.
I'm just going to be like, listen, who's carrying all this stuff?
I know. Like, this is definitely not the go bag. This is if you're an
This
emergency
is like
if we have an emergency in the house.
you're gonna need to like literally like if you had to go outdoors, just like make your way to the local river, throw all that shit in a canoe, and just drag it.
Right, right. No, but that's the thing. That's why you need an emergency kit for your house, but you also need a go bag. So obviously all of the stuff can't go in the go bag. These are the things that if we're in our house that we need, right? That I think we need. But that's different. If we're not in our house, then maybe we don't need. I mean, we definitely still need Vicks, but maybe there are other things that we don't need.
Oh, pack some Febreze.
Some Febreze.
Because you never know.
So the last bag that I have here has things like Tums are in there. I put some Neosporin in there. I put
hopefully
iodine.
some nips.
Huh?
Some nips of your favorite like booze.
Some nips. I don't have any nips, but I should put some nips in there. I have a little nail kit in there that has an emery board and a nail clipper and a tweezers. You know, you might get a splinter. I don't know.
Hangnail, something.
I put some, what are these things called? Rubber bands in there. I don't know, but I might need them. I put zip ties in there. Again, I don't know.
You might need to tie somebody up.
Yeah.
Who's trying to do you wrong?
Yes, I have zip ties. I also put a medicine dropper, the one you get in the kids thing. This is what the FEMA thing says, to have some kind of dropper so that you can measure out your
medication
bleach.
Or
the bleach when you want to use the bleach. Yeah. And then I also have just some little Kleenex. I had some individually wrapped, Kleenex situations. So I put those in there. And then when I was at Walmart, I could probably do a whole nother show on just the extra things that I put in there.
I think we're going to need to.
I got into Walmart and lost my whole mind. I was like, oh, we need this. And I need a machete. So
I have one of those.
Huh?
I have one of those.
Yeah. So we got into a serious conversation about not being gun owners. We don't own a gun, but how can we still, so anyway, we're trying to figure out if we have to defend ourselves and defend our seeds and our stockpile, how are we going to do that? So if there's anybody out there listening who also prepares in that way, I would love to talk to you, especially if you're not a gun person. If you're thinking about people who aren't gun people, what do you tell them? How do you prepare for these things that we're all afraid of? I mean, as empty as the shelves were with people freaking out over buying food and bleach and toilet paper, the line at the gun store to buy ammo and guns and whatever was like 6 hours long. So I don't know what to do with that. But anyway, this was all to say that I felt supremely unprepared for this pandemic, but also an emergency in general. And I thought, oh, it's okay. I have stuff. But as I was doing this process, I realized that the things were really all over the house. So it was really a calming, I probably did it for 2 or 3 hours over the weekend, a calming way for me to wrap my head around maybe not knowing how to manage other things, but this thing I could do. So I really encourage you you don't have to go overboard. You don't have to go get super excited. You don't have to become a prepper, but just this activity of putting together things will make you take stock of what you have in your house, pull them all into one location, because in an emergency, you don't have time to think, oh, the flashlight is in the basement, but the batteries are in the kitchen. You don't have that kind of time. And I joke about zombies, or you joke about apocalypse stuff. Maybe it's not going to be that, but you still might end up in some sort of emergency situation. And you want to be able to use all of your brain power on your fight or flight, not on your
where the fuck is my shit?
Exactly. So I really encourage everyone, again, to start with what you have. Go to ready.gov, get this list, take just a few minutes to think about what are the things that you use all the time every day, or that you leave the house with, or whatever, and write them down and then start putting them together. I didn't even go out and buy a new bin. I went into my basement and found a bin that was half full and, refilled a different bin, and then used this empty bin to be my emergency kit. You don't have to go out and buy a bunch of stuff, but if you go through the process, you might find that there are some key things that you definitely need, and then you can get them on your next trip. So I'm really glad that I did it, and I did it kicking and screaming and didn't want to listen to James, but as usual, he was right. So I encourage you to go out and make one. Call me if you have any questions, because obviously now I'm kind of a prepper. I swear to God, I almost bought some dried eggs and sausage. The military food, the Walmart has the dried food where you just add boiling water to it, and then all of a sudden you have eggs, like scrambled eggs and sausage.
Star Trek. It's like we need a replicator.
I almost bought it. I did not buy it, but I almost did. So if you want to talk about prepping, maybe not necessarily doomsday or not extreme prepping, but a little bit of prepping, I would totally be up for that. And definitely go to ready.gov for this list, or just do there's so many videos on YouTube that you can find about creating an emergency kit, but the time is now. Even if you didn't have one last week or you're like running low on stuff, now is the time to do it so that you have it for next time. Mm-hmm. So that's it.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot, but I feel like we weren't just talking shit today. This is real life stuff. And there are people right now, if you had made this emergency kit, then you wouldn't need all of the bleach from the store because you'd already have it, or you wouldn't need all of the water from the store because you'd already have been making it slowly. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. If I had done this already, I wouldn't need some of the things that I can't find right now. I would already have hand sanitizer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really encourage us. And then I just want to finish up with my Mom So Hard tip of the week, which, I guess make an emergency kit is a major tip. But the other thing that I found being at home now with my boys, not the daycare, but my own boys, I am in the kitchen all day long. There's so many dishes, like they just eat. We all are just eating, bored eating. And I was overwhelmed by how many times you have to run the dishwasher. So one little thing that I did was I installed, and by installed, I mean took the sticky paper off the back, some command strips onto the side of our table in the kitchen. So for us, it's an island, but you might have a spot on the wall, or you could even put them on your fridge or whatever. And then in the morning, each kid gets a water bottle. All of our water bottles have little loops. And then we hang our water bottles on the command strips so that over the course of the day, you can just get your water, drink your water from your bottle, put it back where it belongs here so it's not spilling all over the house or whatever. And then I just have the one bottle from each kid to clean. Now, you might have a milk cup or whatever, but we don't have to be making up a whole lot of dirty dishes because of water. So if you have a few command strips or you have a spot that you can dedicate for your water, then I would suggest that you make like a water station for your kids while you're home with them. And then that's it.
That's amazing.
What do you think?
I think that's a lot of information. Thankfully, this is recorded so people can play it back, but do what you need to. Just try to be as prepared as you can be in any situation.
And don't stress about it. Don't over stress about it, but definitely do something about it. So anyway, thank you so much, everyone, for sticking around. If you have stuck around with us for the whole show or coming back, pause and take a break and come back if you need to. I could have just done this in a really quick list, maybe, but I feel like some of the things seem silly until you hear, oh, that's how I should use the whatever thing. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us this week and every week. You can find us on all of the places, mainly Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play. Our home base is Digital Stream Radio. Like and share the show. That's how people find us and how we are able to keep coming to you every week. So again, thanks so much. Don't stress during this time, but be aware of what's going on. Stay in your house if you can, as much as you can. Wash your hands and be careful. Bye, guys.
This show is produced by Tom Ortiz at Digital Stream Radio. It's available for download on Podbean. Follow us at Facebook at Breezy Moms Podcast or email us at breezymomspodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, don't stress, just breathe.